Let's welcome the head coach now into the American studios. Coach, to be back and return to where you started your career 20 years ago as a student assistant coach back in 2001, what excites you the most to be back here now leading the Golden Hurricane?
Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be with you all, and it's great to be back here in Tulsa. This is where it really started for me. My first year out of college, came here as a graduate assistant under Buzz Peterson. Judy McLeod was the AD at the time, and what a wonderful place to be. I learned a lot. Really, more than anything was a place that I wanted to coach even more. People were so welcoming, and the support of the university and the support of this community was really tremendous. And with that success, we were able to do some great things, and then the chance to come back is really, really special. Never would have dreamed back then to be the head coach at Tulsa, but certainly excited to be here.
You know, Eric, a great tradition at Tulsa, as you know, and now I'm really excited to see it today. We haven't seen each other for a while. We've talked on the phone a few times over the last couple of years. But as you transition from your job with Jim Larinaga to La Tech, and then now you make the transition to Tulsa, what are the differences between what you learned at La Tech when you first got there and now what you've learned at Tulsa, getting ready to rebuild this program?
I just think, Mark, every place has its unique strengths and unique challenges, and sometimes those challenges are things that really can be insignificant. But it's just finding out the ways where you can be most successful. As you mentioned, going from George Mason to Miami, going to then Louisiana Tech, and here, there's just again great strengths that we want to be able to highlight, and then there's things that we've got to continue to get better at, and that's been the focus from trying to develop our team, the players that are back, to recruiting, to engaging with our community and our fans. We want to be the city's team, and that's been a great part of our history here, from Nolan Richardson to Tubby Smith to Bill Self and Buzz Peterson, who I work for. We want to be the city's team and get our entire community pulling in the same direction with us.
Hey, Coach Brooke Weisbrod, great to meet you and welcome to the league. You know, I'm sure taking on a brand new team and trying to rebuild a program, there must be so many moving pieces, and I can only imagine what that feels like to try to put them all together. But you mentioned building community. Where does that start? Where do you reach out to rebuild that fan base and to get people excited about your program?
Well, as you said, Brooke, there's so many things to do, and there's only 24 hours in the day. You'd love to stretch it out even more, but we're trying to first engage with our players. And I tell our players all the time that go out and meet people. Go out and meet people both on campus and in this community. Tell them that you're a men's basketball player here at the University of Tulsa. Typically, people will engage and interact with people that they know. And you want to be able to know people, and that starts with me, of being out in the community, whether it's at the school that my boys attend, to other things around town, restaurants and events and different things like that. We want people to feel connected to TU men's basketball. So we've really begun with that. And then, of course, we want to have a style of play that's exciting. We want to have a group of young men that are gritty and nasty and tough and competing like crazy. But then when you get to know them out in the community, know that they've got big smiles, big hearts, and great guys as well.
Coach, thanks for joining us, and also welcome to the American. We have a question from the media from TJ Eckert at KTUL.
Yeah, Coach, you talked a lot during the offseason about hitting the ground running. Just curious how this first offseason's gone for you and your staff.
Well, thanks, TJ. It's been great, getting our staff assembled. And, of course, many of us have worked together in the past, so there isn't that learning curve there. But it's learning our place, learning our guys, getting to know their families, of course, getting to know our strengths and things that we can continue to try to get better at. But all of us have settled in with our children and our homes and our neighborhoods, and getting to know as many people as possible. We've been here about 6 months. In some ways, it feels like we've just gotten here, but in a number of ways, and I think that's really one of the main strengths of the community here in Tulsa, is people embrace you in a way that makes you feel like you've been here a long time. So many things yet to do, and that's going to be ongoing, but really excited about the direction we're headed.
Throw another one at you because I'm curious on your thought process on this. You guys are picked 10th in the preseason list. Do you guys talk about that at all in the locker room? Do you bring that up as a point of motivation or anything like that? How do you guys normally handle those preseason polls?
Well, I've been on, the other end of this as well. And the nice thing is that nobody has a crystal ball in life. And so there's so many times and evidence of those types of rankings being incorrect. And we just try to control the things that we can control every single day. And that's our attitude, that's our effort, that's our body language, and just try to get better every day. And so whether that's motivation or not, we're going to use it in both directions for sure.
Eric, Sam Griffin returns. I'd like to pick your brain a little bit about the returning guys who stood out. I'm sure Sam has. And then also of the new guys that you were able to kind of shuffle together as you got the job, who has stood out on that front as well that we can look for going into the season?
A number of guys, Mark, and one of the things I really enjoy about this group is they are a hard-playing, hard-working, blue-collar type of team. We've got a beautiful facility here behind us, practice gym, and the ball's bouncing all the time. We've got guys that are invested and committed to getting better, and Sam's one of those guys for sure. He was a double-figure scorer. Has had a lot of experience at the Division I level. Of course, we're counting on him to take another step, both offensively, defensively, and from leadership. But you see it from a number of guys. Of course, Anthony Pritchard, local product here from Tulsa Webster High School, ended last season with an injury, but I think that he's ready to take a jump. He's very physical, hard playing. I think he's got a chance to be a great defender in this league and nationally. And another guy that we're looking forward to step up. But then we signed 5 newcomers that have joined us this year, and we'll talk to Brandon Betson here in a little bit. He's got Division I experience last year at Chicago State, and he's another guy that can play on the ball, off the ball, and make a number of shots from deep. So, again, we're looking to find combinations. We've got a scrimmage this weekend and next. So we'll be able to use those events as opportunities to really find more information about our group and more things that we need to get better at.
Coach, following up on Anthony Pritchard, ultra competitive. I've heard you talk about how he's really the heart and soul of this team. How do you see that fire really carry over and be contagious here for all of your players?
You're exactly right. He's got that type of way about him. He is hard playing. He's physical. He's got an effervescence about him when it comes to just energy and competitiveness. And that's something that we want to be a real staple of our program. Regardless of the situation, that's something that we can control is that type of effort. And he can be a great leader for us in that regard. He's just got that way about him. And I think that's, as you look at the great Tulsa teams over history, it's been teams that have been really gritty defensively, have played with a certain pace and tempo, and it started with great point guard play. Guys at the front with both on the ball and on the defensive end of setting that type of tempo.
We'll have a question from Bruce Howard of the Tulsa Radio Network.
Coach, every coach is different. Every coach's culture is different. What does a good culture look like for you at Tulsa?
Well, we define culture as really having what it is that you're doing when people aren't watching, and not just doing things well under the lights or in front of people, but an overall presence of things that are moving in the right direction. And that's improvement for us. So we talk about 3 things all the time. We want to be energy givers. We want to be really positive with great attitude. Second, we want to be totally and unconditionally committed, to be really passionate about what we do. And then third, we want to do things in a first-class manner, knowing that we represent much more than ourselves. We're the 112th men's basketball team in Tulsa basketball history. We're going to be the only 112th team, but knowing that we're part of something so much bigger, not just in basketball, but in our university and our city. But we want guys that are just focused on getting better every day and controlling the things that they can control always.
Coach, we appreciate your time and looking forward to seeing here what you do in year 1, and welcome to the American.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me.
Coach Konkol wasting no time instilling his culture. We heard about the positivity he's trying to instill, doing the things when people aren't watching. What did you like in terms of what you just heard from him there?
I like the fact that he's taking a methodical approach to building a new team and culture there. I think he understands the magnitude of what he's looking at and really rejuvenizing a program where basketball is pretty popular out there. The fans want that. They want to see high-paced, big, high-powered offense, lots of shooting. And I think he's got the guys in the right place. And one of them, Brandon Betson, has had 2 game winners in his past. So, he's ready for those big moments. But he's right. You got to get the guys out in the community. Meet, greet, talk, get those shy muscles working.
Sam Griffin's a really good player, and I think that's going to be a good guy to build upon. When I took over at Central Connecticut, I had one guy named Damian Johnson who ended up being the all-time leading scorer there. And I could lean on him every night, because we weren't going to be very good. But he was an entertaining player, and we rode him for a couple seasons. And I think Sam Griffin's going to help bridge that gap for Eric Konkol, that he can bring in a lot of talent. And I think it's going to take some time. But, look, I've known this guy a long time. He's going to figure it out. He's very, very smart. The other thing is he also has his priorities in place. If you saw him with his wife and with his kids and things like that, really gets it. Everybody thought about family atmosphere, and it's true with all these coaches. But if you met the Konkol family, you'd understand it even on a more deeper level.
Why is Tulsa the right fit for him there?
Well, I think because he does have a history there, and he understands it. He understands Bill Self and Tubby Smith and all the guys that have been there over the years. The history means something. It's like when Wes Miller comes in and talked about the 90s teams and what that meant. Katrina Merriweather and her relationship with her grandfather who played with Oscar Robertson. I mean, I like coaches that go back to a historical perspective, especially at their own schools, and recognize that it's not about me. It's about the big picture of all of us that have been part of this program for many, many decades.
Yeah. Let's hear from some of these Tulsa men's basketball players, Sam Griffin and Brandon Betson, joining us here now in the American studios. Sam and Brandon, here in year 1 under head coach Konkol, what have you enjoyed most? How has this team gelled? And what's the sense of chemistry that you're feeling now heading into the season? Oh, we've got to get the headphones set, though.
Yeah, hold on. It's in now. When we got here in the summer, it was just a joyful process because we were all getting to learn each other, especially me being a newcomer. So, like guys like Sam, I just gelled with him. So it was good. And then we just been really in the gym, just getting concepts down, working with each other, guys putting in the work with each other. So it's just been a great process. All right, I'm good now.
Brandon, since I know you can hear us, and hopefully, Sam, you can hear us as well. Sam, you're obviously a scorer. You averaged 14 points a game last season. Saw you play many, many times, and you bring talent certainly to this roster. As being a returning guy, what kind of pressure do you feel to pull this team together, especially with a new coach coming in?
I don't think it's any pressure. I think we work really hard, so anytime you work hard, you always have a chance. What I'm going to do is I came together with my team, and they all pushed me to be better, and I pushed them to be better as well, so I don't feel like I'm doing it by myself, honestly. And anytime you feel like you're not doing it by yourself, it always helps the team chemistry and help the team develop. So I feel like right now we're a great unit, and we're all together as one, so it's not just, me doing it by myself.
Brandon, this question, is for you. I know going back to your career, you've hit 2 game winners, not at Tulsa, but perhaps you will moving forward. So I'm just wondering, what feels better, to hit a game-winning shot or to think about having a game-winning assist?
Well, everybody wants to hit a game-winning shot, but at the position I play when you're in point guard and you make a pretty good assist for a game-winning shot, like that's probably even better. So I would say probably the game-winning assist.
Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. We have a question from TJ Eckert at KTUL.
We'll start with Sam. And Sam, we're not going to talk down on the previous coaching staff, but what's been the biggest difference between Coach Konkol's staff to what you guys had with Coach Haith last year?
I mean, I can't really, speak too deeply on it, but I enjoy the new coaching staff, and I appreciate the old coaching staff as well. The Coach Konkol and Coach Desmond, Coach King, Coach Wolf, and Coach Conroy pretty much have, positive energy. And, it's close. They have positive energy, and I think, when you have guys like that around you, it definitely helps the culture. And I think they're doing great things here as well. And I appreciate the old staff for also, bringing me into Tulsa and the community and helping me build that that bond with the fans and the community around. So.
And then Brandon, I know Coach Konkol's staff kind of recruited you here. Can you maybe tell us what Konkol and that staff sold you on to come here to Tulsa?
To be honest, it wasn't even basketball purposes because the work's going to take care of itself. So Coach Konkol, it was with me. It was just him knowing that I could count on him with anything just in life, needing advice. The whole coaching staff really, like, I talked to Coach Conroy a lot, Coach Heyman, Coach King. I talked to all those guys throughout the day. So it's just helpful being here because we in the gym so much, but sometimes we need to be able to lean on them for some things, and that's what made it really special to come here. So that was a big part.
Sam, the American is a conference rich with guards, and you're one of the great guards as well. But of all the guards in the conference who are returning, who's the hardest to guard?
I don't know. I feel like every time I matched up against one of the good guards, I performed to the competition. So I don't really think any of them are really hard to guard like that. Like I'm ready for it all. So I can't give you one.
Kendrick Davis and Marcus Sasser just heard your answer.
So I love that.
I'm sure you do. Get after it, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sam and Brandon, thank you both so much for joining us, and we're looking forward to this new era of Tulsa men's basketball. Appreciate your time.
I appreciate you too.
Appreciate you guys.
For more information, you can visit tulsaworld.com.